Hold on, let me get ruined here. Those combos are built for. So I mean, it's cool for people to talk about it, get the emotions out, and all that kind of stuff.
Here's my question, Trey.
Yes, sir. What's up?
So, at the same time, and I understand, because this is a conundrum, so I'm asking a question.
Sure.
So, at the same time that we say that, that's like, okay, well, there's certain people that we're not going to let in the room. It still affects everybody, and until we move as one unit, it's going to be people left out. So it's just like my question becomes, how do we determine who we when we say we all the time? And I don't think that that's a clear defined thing of. And I feel you on that, where you're like, yo, I don't want this particular person in there, or that particular person in there, because of these reasons. And again, it's the intelligence of moving in silence is what you're exemplifying, right? But then how do you get everybody involved if we picking it's only certain people?
Well, when we say we and we say everybody, it doesn't really mean all of us, and it doesn't really mean everybody. There are going to, unfortunately, there are going to be some casualties of war, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be some people that are going to get left behind. That's just what it is.
And who gets to determine who that is?
Nobody determines it per se. It's all about the action. You see what I'm saying? So if you have,
I don't really understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if you have certain people that, let's just say I start a conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And I began this conversation before you came in. I started talking about there are certain things and certain kind of conversations that you gravitate, and your instinct tells you to have these kind of conversations with these type of people. And then these type of people start to grow from whatever it is. Maybe it was one that started with you, then it's me and you, then it's me and you and Dave and Banner, then it's me and you and such and such. And all of a sudden it grows to a point where you have enough numbers to really start an effective movement. That may be built for you. There are some people that are with integration.
Right.
There are some people that are with separation.
Right.
You're never, as far as us as a people, and I also said that when we were forced here to America, it started from that point where they did a masterful job on us collectively as a race to be able to be divisive with certain things that they implement within our communities. There's certain people jump at the bait. Certain people jumped at when they drop drugs in the community. Certain people jumped at when they got that good paying job, that white collar life, if you will. Certain people, there are going to be some people that they can separate and divide because of how they conditioned us when we got here in the first place. So there are certain ways that you have to move, but it's not going to be inclusive of everyone because of the fact that there are certain people that are going to just move that in that direction. Now,
okay, so let me ask this question then. When we're talking as a group, and this is the biggest thing, where we see other groups who hold themselves down, right? I used this example yesterday of shoot, I wrote the word down, but the police, the Hasidic Jews, the Orthodox Jews in Brooklyn that have their own police that started in 1991. I think it's SHOMOM. Somebody look it up, right? But it means protection, right? So that's that thing that you see when you're walking around Brooklyn, where it's like, yo, they police themselves. So they could see two black dudes arguing on a corner, they'll walk right past it. If one of you mess with one of us, white, black, China, it don't matter. They step in and they do the citizen's arrest, and the police respect it and respect them. But why? Because they are one solid group under one thing. We all dress alike. We all go to the same thing. Like we understand exactly who we are based off of this classification in this group, right? So if we have so many different divisions and so many, if we my idea, and again, I'm posing this as a question, Trey, because this is my like my angst of when I see us so divided over so many different issues, right? We divide over religion. Some of us is Muslim, some of us is Christian, some of us is atheist, some of us is whatever, right? Then we get into this thing of, yo, I'm ADOS, right? I'm a descendant of a slave. You from Africa, you come and taking my job, or you're from the Caribbean, so you can't have, you know, reparations because your lineage wasn't under slavery, right? That's another thing that divides us. And like we have all these different things. So I'm saying, what is the thing that makes us us because we don't even have those groups that stand up for us that same way. Do you understand? You understand? You understand? So in order to have some sort of representation that stands up for us, when we say us, what that means, I'm trying to get a clear definition of what us is. And I'm not saying because I'm frustrated, and Ebro put up a thing yesterday where he's like, yo, don't get tired. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm tired. I am actually tired, bro. I'm actually tired. I need energy because I've seen us try to come together. I've been in those meetings, you know what I'm saying, in Newark, where it's like, yo, okay, we got a gang problem. We need to come in here. So we get everybody in there. And we get people from all these different denominations, and we end up start arguing, right? Or look at Newark. We got a perfect situation where our mayor cares for our city and for black people, period. Period, point blank. There's nobody that can question whether or not Raz loves us, right? But then we get people that critique him. That's like, yo, that don't realize how hard that may not be as close to Raz and Mid as me and you, and see they stress of like, yo, it can't. I don't have an unlimited budget. So either I'm gonna put this money into policing, or I'm gonna put this money into schools, or if I do both of that, then people's gonna call and say, yo, the potholes are still out there when it snows and you ain't got enough people. Meaning, I've seen us I'm saying that example to say now we have leadership, right? Where we have our own brother that runs the city. You see what I'm saying? And we still can't come together.
Right.
We still, not even in my own city.
Right. Listen, I said that, right? Again, none of these other races, nationalities, creeds, color in America, right? None of them have been through the things that we've been through.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely.
So therefore, that's what I'm saying. So the playing field and the mentality and the way that we move is automatically gonna be way different. Way different.
But is that getting us to the point, Trey? Is that or is that just us recognizing that and saying, okay, but what is that thing? Or let me phrase it as the question: is your goal to get everybody together for there to be a
listen, in a perfect world, would love to. In a perfect world, would love to. Okay. But in actuality, that shit ain't gonna happen.
So then how do you move? How do you move when you automatically leaving certain people out?
You move.
See, this is where it gets funky, Trey. This is where it gets funky. Because it's like at a certain point, them people gonna be at odds with each other.
And listen, and this is what I'm saying to you. As long as we continue to wonder who's gonna get left behind, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, we never mobilize. You got to move.
We have you said we've never mobilized in this country?
No. I'm saying you got to keep moving is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're going to be
here's my point, Trey. And please, again, let me make this point and hold what you're saying, because I'm really, again, setting this up to ask a question, right?
Sure.
I don't know what we are mobilizing towards at this point. Now,
that's the problem.
Let me make this point. Every movement that was effective has a very specific point. Let's take us in the civil rights movement, right? We have very specific things that we wanted to do. I want the law to say I can eat anywhere I want. I can go to the bathroom. The education is supposed to be the same. We have very specific things law-wise that we were trying to change. We have a purpose and a goal so that we know when we reach this point. Not to say that the civil rights movement was the end-all be-all. I'm not saying that. But the purpose of that movement was to go, yo, at least you can't stop me from eating here. At least you can't stop my grandmother from using this toilet while we on this 8-hour drive. Right? Let's take it outside of black people. Let's go to the gay community. The gay community asked for very specific things in their movement. This woman and this woman want to be together. This woman make $150,000 a year. She want her partner to get her health care. There's very specific things that these movements ask for. Our women's movement, us. I don't know what we're at, because what I'm asking for right now is that my thing seems to get lost. Where what I'm saying is, this is all I want, that when a cop commits murder, that he gets locked up for murder. That's all I want.
And that's
all I want.
But you just hit on a great point, and the thing that I was saying before you came in here. The problem is we don't have a plan.
That's my point. What is the agenda?
We don't have exactly, Rue. That is my point. So my thing is, I'm not going to sit around here and wait for all of us to get together, come up with this plan, because when we try to do that, one of two things happens. Well, no, one of many things happens. Some of us get tired. Some of us say, "No, Master got a good job for me over here. I don't know if I want to ruffle some feathers." Some of us are just too high to even sit down and even comprehend what the plan may be. So they don't give a damn.
And Trey, let's skip past those things. But what I'm saying is, let's take two people of sound mind, both bout it, both love people. This is the Malcolm and Martin argument, right? Like, and the classic thing that we've been in. These people don't want the same thing.
But I'll take it a step further, Rue. Those people have not been identified completely.
Okay.
I'll take it a step further. You have to identify who all the players are that either you got this road or this way to your end game, and I got that road to the end game, but at least we have the end game so that we can sit down collectively and start mapping out a plan to get to the end game. But until you identify the players, until you completely identify the players,
what do you mean?
It's going to be the same cycle
identify the players? You mean leaders?
What'd you say?
What do you mean by identify the players? You mean leaders?
Whether you want to call them leaders, people that have like minds, that want to see an end game and want to strategize and plan and have a well thought out plan to get to an end game. Until you identify those people that you can put in that room, then you're going to have this vicious cycle over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have a bunch of people that's going to look at it and be like, whoever you put in that room don't represent me.
And I know that therein lies the division. So no matter how you got to break these clusters up, you got to move. You can't just sit here and just mess around.
But move how, Trey? Because you know what I see? And when you said mobilize, yes, people are mobilizing and they're going, yo, let's meet at so-and-so at this particular time.
That's not mobilizing to me.
Hold on. With no organization. So in essence, what you're doing is you're running on a treadmill.
That's right.
You're exerting a whole bunch of energy, but you're running in place.
That is correct. That is my point. That is absolutely correct. When I'm talking about mobilizing, I'm talking about let's shut the fuck up. Right?
Okay.
Let's shut the fuck up. Like, we're talking, we can come in the room and hash this shit out, closed door.
Right. Me and you as friends can come into a room, argue to death, yell at each other, see what I'm saying is, as a collective of people, even if that extends to, let's say, okay, our whole network of people that we know, right? There's still millions of black people that we personally don't know, or our connections don't know, or that may not necessarily, I'm not saying everybody has to agree with the way that I think, right? But at the end of the day, I'm saying that in order for us to even have that plan, let's say we make a plan, because we've been planning for a long time. We've been planning forever. And it's like, yo, certain people go, well, I'm not with that plan.
Or certain people go to the plan or stick to the plan up to a certain point and they get baited out of the plan.
Well, that's always happened. That's no matter what.
Right.
There's a bunch of movements that we could go through and see how these movements have been
and that's a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's dissension in the ranks.
That's part of what has happened to every movement for us in this country.
That's right. So what I'm saying is, in these particular situations, in these times right here, I understand people are angry. I understand people are emotional. I understand people are upset. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, this shit been happening. So how many more times does this shit have to happen for you to feel this emotion yet again?
No, but I think we still feel the emotion. What I'm saying is there's no result. So if I'm being clear,
essentially that's the point I'm trying to make.
If I'm being clear, Trey,
you feel this emotion again and then not even try to well, again, expressing this emotion to everybody out there in the free world that is willing to hear it, and then going back to your regularly scheduled program.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the problem as something very specific. I want police officers to stop killing black men on the street. Hold on, on the street, and not getting locked up for it. You understand what I'm saying?
I want that. I want that.
Not getting arrested, not none of that. I want them to go to jail the same way that any other person who takes someone's life goes to jail for 33 years.
I want that, but I want some other shit too.
No,
I
of course.
will not.
Hold on,
wait a minute. But hold on. Hold on. I want that, and I want some other shit too. That is inclusive within what I want, but these are the things that I'm not willing to discuss. Amongst everyone. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So this is what I'm saying. When you start talking about, let me just say, I wasn't in the rooms with these people because I wasn't born and I didn't live there. But when you start talking about places, and I understand what the end result was, but maybe I'm thinking that no. I'll discuss that. I'm not even gonna put this out there. I'll discuss that with you offline.
Okay.
But the bottom line is there are gonna be, if you can't mobilize, and we're just gonna use this word for right now. If you can't mobilize collectively as one, as African Americans, black people in America as one, then what you have to start doing, the same way the Panthers did, the same way the civil rights movement came about, the same way the nation did, you're going to have these clusters. Your ideology may be different, but your end game is always the same. You're going to have to start with these clusters that understand what the end game and the game plan is based on your ideology, right? And then begin to move in that fashion.
And I think, and what I'm saying to you is not a counter, Trey. It's to show you an example that those ideas have been put into place. So we do.
Stick to them.
Let me say what I'm saying. We have groups of people that have put those things into place, right? Nation of Islam moves a certain way. 5%ers move a certain way. Imam Isa, his people move a certain way. Church move a certain way. We got a difference between Baptist, AME, whatever it is. They all move a different way and got different outlooks. We have those groups.
Starts with your family first.
What does that mean?
That means the education, the ideologies, starts in the inner circle of in your household first.
What is that doing, Trey? I'm not going against
what it does is hold on. You want me to tell you what it does?
No. I'm saying don't think I'm not saying not educate our children. What I'm saying, and this is why I'm stopping you, is I'm saying you do all of that. It's probably 200 people on here that are our same age that raised their kids, that have taught them that ain't stopping this white man from putting his knee on his neck.
Right, but what it does is so it starts inside of your house, in your neighborhood, right? So there's no way if you would have did that, and from what I understand, and I don't want to use this man as an example, but let's just say if it was a Joe Blow in the hood, right? There's no way if you have a solid foundation in your hood, just like if you went to Chinatown, and that happened in Chinatown, there's no way that cop is going to be allowed to keep his knee on that man's neck for that long in Chinatown.
Okay, I understand.
So I'm saying if you starting in your house and everybody in this neighborhood, and there's some white cop that comes in our neighborhood and decides to put his knee on the neck of somebody in my neighborhood, there's no way he's going to keep his knee on that man's neck for 5 seconds.
Okay.
That's all. And
have you not? And when we get offline, I will send you these. And I wasn't yelling. I'm just trying to calm down. But I'm saying,
sure.
Yeah. Have you not seen the videos, Trey, of whole hoods battling with the police? One just surfaced yesterday. The hood reacted exactly the way that you wanted them to right now. It was one dude getting taken down, and everybody from the project jumped in there. And guess what the fuck happened? Them niggas. I mean,
but listen. Here's the thing.
This is not.
If you, no. Now here's the thing. That may happen, right? So if something happens to one of us because we decided to rush him, if it happens again, are you gonna allow it because somebody got popped?
No. What I'm thinking about is not it happening again. I'm talking about y'all just jumped the police. y'all, we looking at a position where if we was organized, yes, it ain't about fear of losing your life. I'll lose my life for my child.
Right. Then what?
No,
Okay.
that's not the point. The point being is what I said yesterday, is that the revolution is not suicide. I was watching Mr. Baraka talk, and when he hit that point, it resonated with me, because I'm
it's
like,
not
yo,
suicide.
we got the dudes that got the heart. We know the hood ain't scared to bust their guns.
But do we though?
But hold on. This is why. Because that police officer is simply an agent. This is like the Matrix trade. He's only an agent. You know why? Because the next agent that's going to come is the National Guard.
I
agree.
The next agent that's going to come after that is the Army. I said that the exact same thing that you're saying. It could be bait that they're trying to get these army trucks or tanks running down our neighborhoods. I said that.
And then, but here's my point. My point being is that if that was to happen in a Jewish community, an Asian community, any of those communities, the result afterwards is different. Do you understand? The cop gets prosecuted.
I understand, because we are based here differently than all the other races.
Okay.
I know this. But my thing is, when does the tipping point happen?
I think it been happened.
No, it didn't. If the tipping, do you understand? I know you.
What do you mean by tipping point? Go ahead. What do you mean by tipping point?
When I'm saying the tipping point, when the shit hasn't blowed over yet, because it continues to happen.
Oh no, I'm saying the thing that happened that should have made you feel like, yo, now we got
right, and it still hasn't happened.
I'm asking the question: how many of them do it gotta be?
Exactly. That's my point, Rue. How many of this shit? How many times does this shit have to happen? That is my point. How many times does this shit have to happen for us to stop these kind of conversations?
It's not even about the. To me, I'm saying what's the move? My fault. What's the move is my point. So when these things happen, that to me, that's all we do is talk, and it's a whole.
That's right.
We need the dialogue, and we need.
That's right.
That ain't changing that. That ain't changing that.
Yes, Rue. Yes.
By me and you talking. That's not changing that man's idea that got on a red hat. It's not changing his head. So, so again, this is the difference between prejudice and racism, right? I really don't care if you're prejudiced. If you don't like black people, that's whatever. The racist part is what I have a problem with, because racism is defined by power, right? And we just watched racism happen because this man did a lynching in broad daylight because the power that blue uniform has. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So, if we just talk about it, me and you, and this is what I was talking about when you was like, yo, we got to educate it. Yes, that's a given. That's a given. We got to educate our kids, and we got to be together as a community.
But I guess from an intelligent person like you, it should be, right? But for a lot of us, it's not, bro. That's my thing. I think we take a lot of shit for granted amongst our people.
Maybe I do.
I think as a whole, I really think we do. I think we think that everybody educates their kids on what the real shit is.
No. I'm not saying
no. Listen, don't say what I'm saying from a technical stand. What I'm saying, when you just said the point about educating your kids and all that, I don't think all of us do that shit. I really don't. I don't think they're as a.
The only part, I'll tell you this, Trey. The only part that I felt remiss in, and I said this yesterday, that I did not have "this is what I want you to do as a father to my son" conversation until the day before yesterday, and that shit hurt. Of me telling my son, even if the cop is in the wrong, even if you know the law, you know the law, yo, get arrested, and I'll come get you. And that feels that wrong to tell my son something wrong. But I'm telling him that for his survival. I would rather, this is me. It's not nobody's opinion. This is how I'm raising my child, right? I would rather come get you and argue at the police station with whoever versus planning your funeral.
Facts.
Period. And it's sad and it hurts to have to do that, but I had to do that.
Because that's the reality that we live in.
Of me wanting to protect him.
That's right.
Like, yo, don't even get it. And because I know my son, and because of the fact that we've educated our kids, and they are going to be like us and buck up and I know my rights. My dad said to now at that point, homie, just shut up. Because
you're thinking about the long game.
It ain't the worst. I've been arrested before. It ain't the worst.
That's what I'm saying. You're thinking, and that's my point. I don't think enough of us are thinking about the long game. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't think that far out. People want instant gratification. Even if we devise a plan, right? Most of us want to see it implemented right now. I got some news for you. You may not be here when the shit goes down and we finally get to turn that corner and be considered quote unquote equals in this fucking country. I'm sorry. That's just not gonna. It's just not.
I'm at a point, and that's why. And again, it's good that we talking about this, and obviously we can have things offline. But this is obviously for our people, and sure. And when I say our people, I'm talking directly to our fam that's in here, right? Because I'm at the point now where my attitude is just like, bruh, I'm being honest with y'all. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think any of us know.
And it's getting to my heart, Trey. It's getting to the point. That's why I say I'm tired, bro. I'm really tired. I'm really tired.
I mean, listen. You have I'm not saying you don't have a right to be tired. You have a right to be tired. Our people have a right to be tired. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been going through this shit since the beginning. You have a right to be tired. But at the same time, and I'm just speaking for me.
Right.
That's not going to stop me from creating and I ain't talking about musically. I'm talking about
organizations
coming up with practical solutions, if you will. And I don't even know if I want to use the word solution because I don't really want to say what I want to say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't really want to because I think we do too much of that anyway.
But there's also a point. I get what you're saying, Trey. But there's also a point of like squashing certain ideas that we could do publicly. Like to me, this is just my opinion. The thing of the like, and we all know these people. The thing of like, fuck that. I'm grabbing my gun. We going out here and we. And I'm like, yo, that's not the answer.
That's not it.
It's just death.
Especially without no plan.
It's just death.
People talk about, yo, let's have a revolution. Okay, so then after you do the revolution, then what? What happens?
Exactly. That's my point.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. Like, oh, we need to just get the guns and get ready. And then what?
You can't clothe yourself. You can't feed yourself. You don't know how nothing about planting nothing.
Then what? So yeah. You know what I mean? Listen.
And the thing of like, okay, how am I trying to say this? Like me personally, right? And this is why it bothers me of when you be like, yo, you can't save. I know you can't save everybody, right? But there are certain people like you could literally just get up and be like, yo, you know what I mean? Fuck the U.S. I'm going to live in Tanzania.
Yeah, you could do that too. Like, I thought about
literally right now.
I thought about
pick
that.
Up and be like, yo.
If I wasn't married, Rue, I'd have been out of here, honestly. If I didn't have a wife and 2 kids, I'd have been out of here. I'd have been in the homeland, honestly.
My point being, Trey, is that you still got loved ones that's in the shit. So it's not about like that's like saying, oh well, no cop has ever done that to me.
I got 22 seconds. I want you to come back in once the time's out. You know, matter of fact, we'll go out and come back in.
All right, my brother.
I did not want to go here. I swear I didn't want to go here. God, I didn't want to go here, man. But when my brother gets on here, man, you know, it's my brother. We got to chop it up, man. I did not want to go here, yo. I did not want to go here today. This was supposed to be escapism. What's up, y'all? I did not want to go here today, but when my brother gets on here, we gotta go here. You know what I mean? I was just trying to, you know what I mean, heal with the music. These are the discussions that we gotta have when you love your people. You know what I'm saying? When you love your people, this is what has to happen.
No escapism, Trey. No escapism.
I know. Hold on. What was that?
The spine to the black nation. Not some kind of weird projection off the side of his head going off at a right angle.
Brother Baraka.
The nationalist must be the spine of the body of the black nation. What the nation does, the nationalist must make him do a little better, a little faster. If it's slow, it's because we slow. You understand that? But the minute you put yourself away from the people, no matter how backward and corny you might think they are, then you are isolated, standing there by yourself, and you will get killed. You will get killed, and it's not about being killed. Liberation is not about being killed. We are not interested in no suicide.
Again,
Facts.
I couldn't say it no better.
That's facts.
He said, no matter how corny, he said the word corny, no matter how corny you think you are, the moment that you separate, you standing out there by yourself. And you're going to get killed. And this ain't about no suicide.
Well, I think there's levels to, and just a difference in opinion and ideology. I think there's levels to separation. So we have to identify what exactly he meant by separating ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That you have to quantify that. There's a number on that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So shit, you ain't the bottom line is just like with slavery and everything else, even with the other nationalities, everybody's not gonna get saved. Everybody's not getting saved. So, you know, you just have to quantify that.
That's just my point. The point I was trying to bring up was like, Neo could be in the Matrix and he could get out. He could do whatever he want to do in the Matrix. He's figured it out. He's no longer a slave. But he still got to keep going in there because of the people that he loves is still connected to the Matrix. And he's trying to pull them out.
But let me put a caveat on that. He has to pull out those that want to come out.
Yes, but let's check this out. The ones that want to come out, those are the, you know, it was a whole bunch of religious numbers in there, right? So that's the 144 that was supposed to come out, and they in Zion already. His plan is to save the entire human race. He sacrifices himself for the entire human race, not just the people that was sharp enough to see it.
So here's the question. Then here's the question. What about those that are just so content with being where they are and do not want to move and want to assimilate and are comfortable with the way things are in the Matrix? What about those?
He had to pull those people out, Trey. He had to
but they're not going. I'm saying he's going in there trying to pull them out, right?
Yeah. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. In the Matrix, right? It's a bunch of people that could not be pulled out. They even explain these rules and say, yo, after a certain age, we don't pull people out. Because
can I? Is it because that they couldn't, or because they didn't want to?
For a lot of reasons, right? Number one,
I need you to identify that, Rue. That's very important.
I'm trying to tell you why. Okay. Can you physically do it? Yes. But then what they would notice is the older someone is, they're so accustomed to the system. So they're so dependent on the system that if you were to pull them out, their mind goes crazy. Which is let me finish what I'm saying. Which is the reason why they said, yo, we only pull out people of a certain age. When Neo walks into there into go meet the Oracle, ain't nothing but kids in there. It's nothing but kids. Why? Because their mind hasn't been messed up by the system yet. You know what I'm saying? They're young enough that you could pull them out and they could believe what's going on. But what I'm telling you is that there were all levels of people in there. There were some people he had to pull out. There's some people that he pulled out, like the dude that ended up killing everybody that was like, you know what? The real world sucks. And I want to go back into this other thing where I know the stake is fake. But I feel better in there. There's all types of people. What I'm saying is at the end of the day, Neo sacrificed himself so that the computers don't have control over the entirety of humanity. They're still connected to that system because, again, if he pulls them out immediately, they're going to all die. There's not enough food. There's not enough food. The sun ain't there. They got to figure out how to do all that first. That's what I'm using as a parallel to say, okay, yes, there are going to be some people that do that. But if we get to a basic, fundamental, bottom level of us being organized enough to where a police officer kills someone on the ground and he has to go to jail, I feel like I've done what I've needed. I'm not saying that that's the totality of being black in America. I'm saying
no, that's fair.
I'm saying that there are very specific things that I would like to fight. And number one on that list right now is the cops feeling like that they could do anything to a black body. Period.
Okay. Period. No, and that's fair. And
that's number one on my list.
And I want that too. But like I told you, my agenda, I ain't even gonna say far-fetched, but I got a whole nother agenda.
No, it's not far-fetched, but what I'm also saying too.
No, I'm saying my agenda may be far-fetched.
Okay.
I'm saying other than that, what you're talking about, because I definitely want that, but there's some other shit.
Yeah, but when we get into nation building, you need people to have a nation.
That's right. You don't need everybody though.
I'm not saying you need everybody, but I'm saying you need people to have a nation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's other things you need to have a nation.
Of course.
Like land.
Of course. I agree with that. I agree with all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I think, and I don't think we're disagreeing on anything. You just want one specific thing right now. And
Right.
I'm saying, fuck the carrot. I want the garden. And that needs to be a well thought out, strategized plan
I get what
that is not going to happen overnight.
I'm not saying
That we should
that,
have.
and
No,
I get
I'm
what you're
not
saying.
saying. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to happen overnight, and I may not even see it.
Right. I get
Myself.
I get what you're
So
saying.
when you start talking about
sacrifice, I'm being very
so
direct.
you start talking about sacrificing yourself. I'm willing to sacrifice myself so that my kids' can be able to enjoy the idea that I have for them here in America.
Of
You see what I'm
course.
saying?
Of course. Of course.
That's all I'm saying. But in addition to that, that has to start now. It can't start, or it should have happened before that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
it can't
listen to what I'm saying, Trey. Listen to what I'm saying.
But it can't, in my opinion, it can't be a situation where things have to tragically happen in order for us, not me and you, Rue, but I'm saying collectively, for us to have a discussion, and then just based on the history of how this thing has went down for I don't know how many centuries since we've been here, where also all of a sudden we get amnesia a week later because everything is fine.
And again, I'm pointing out to you that there have been generations of people who have sacrificed their life under that same guise of being, this is where I want to get to in this country, and I may not be here. I may not get to the mountaintop with you, but we remember that speech.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knew he was about to get killed, right? He knew what the deal was, right? So my point being is that over the years, as we have had organization after organization after organization, and we've had meetings, we have the Black Agenda meetings where we have all these people sit down, we have not gotten to that point yet.
Because we always revert back to the same bullshit after somebody either dies, or somebody gets a good job, or somebody gets strung out on drugs, or some other divisive device that comes in our community and puts us right back to square one. That is the problem.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is that if you were to plug this into an equation, right, and you keep getting the same result over and over again, somebody's gonna call you insane. They're gonna be like, yo, you keep beating your head against the wall thinking it's gonna be a different result, and it's not.
If you go about it the same way, correct.
People have gone about it a bunch of different ways.
But that's not the. But what I'm saying is that's not the finite. What I'm saying to you is, Rue, that's not the finite. You think?
No. By no means. Please don't take it that way.
Okay.
Take it that I'm saying that there is no way. What I'm saying is we have not got to that way yet. Of course, it's not finite. I believe in infinite. Yes, there's a million possibilities and ways to do it. And if this don't, I'm saying stop doing the same thing over and over again.
I agree. Absolutely, 10,000%, without question, unequivocally.
And the movement has to be. And when I say the movement, I'm not talking about the movement as a title. I'm saying your movement, what you do in your action, has to be specific. It has to have some, like, that's why I said it has to have some way for you to quantify and go, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve.
Right on, brother. Right on. Right on.
This is what I'm trying to achieve. I did something, I either achieved it or I didn't. So that I could then go, okay, that either worked or didn't work. You see what I'm saying? I need to move a different way or a different way or a different way. So that we don't even know what the end result, which is why I'm saying, yes, we have the big picture, right? But it's much bigger problems in the world I know. But first, let me deal with the world I know.
No doubt. No doubt.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me,
yeah, absolutely.
And this is not even to be funny, but I'm saying at this particular time, when you sit back and you ask, and this is me doing the analyzation in my head, right? And me questioning myself, where it's like, okay, I know I'm not going to be able to take every prejudiced white person or every racist white person in this country and change their mind. That's not even my goal or my aim.
That's not realistic.
What my aim is that the law be enforced evenly no matter who you are. Meaning, even if you are a police officer, right, and you kill someone, you must be held accountable. Whether or not it was planned, whether or not it was accidental. You know how many people, again, I tried to bring this point up. You know how many people is in jail because they got into a fight? The dude, you know what I mean, hit his head on the side of the bar. You was in a basic fight, but you killed a dude. It's not first degree murder, but it's man. So you got to deal with that. You got to go to jail for that.
Amen. Amen.
And I
Amen.
believe the law should come into play even harder for someone who is a public servant, who is trained to use a firearm, who's also
Amen.
trained to defuse situations.
It's just like a trained boxer. If you get into a fight, there are certain it's almost your hands are lethal weapons. As a
Right.
boxer,
Yeah,
your
exactly.
hands are, you know what I'm saying? Your hands are lethal weapons.
Yes.
So there's a higher, you know what I mean? There's a higher
I'm
consequence.
making the point, Trey, to say that is one of the very specific things that I would like to see done, so that then we can go, okay, check mark, we've accomplished this. Let's move on to this thing.
I hear you. I'm with you.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm with you.
It's a very specific thing. You know what I mean? That was all I was saying. So when it was that, and I wanted to interject this question of who is we.
That's what has to be.
We ain't all together.
That's right.
We don't all.
That's what I've been saying. Exactly. That's why I said everybody can't come in the room. Because what I'm saying is because a lot of us can't hold water.
Where you create the conundrum, Trey, is the minute you say, "Yo, everybody can't come in the room," they're gonna go make their own thing.
But listen. From a strategic, when you start talking about strategizing and really moving the way I want to move, you know what I'm saying? The idea that I have, you know what I mean? You can't allow everybody in the room because that's how people infiltrate.
I get what you're saying. You
can't. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Jay's making records, he ain't letting everybody in that shit.
Yeah, but that's a totally different thing.
What I'm saying, I'm just trying to put it on a basic level. Like,
yeah, but that's one.
There's
nothing because it's Jay-Z, and I'm gonna use the same example. That is one person's expression, and the fact that you use that example is my perfect thing. If it was just about me and my one thing and my one security, then no. What I'm saying is we do have to take into account everyone else.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the great equalizer in all of this shit is that. And it's all because we all have ideologies about how we want to get to this end game. But the great equalizer in all this shit is out of love. It ain't about there's no malintent. There's no jealousy. There's no envy. There's nothing else standing on this that is the foundation of the premise for the ideology other than love for your people. You know what I mean? So that to me equalizes anybody that may have a different idea, or if you can't hold water in the strategy that I'm talking about. And the reason
Trey, what I'm gonna tell you is so basic. What you just said is beautiful and it sounds great, but it has yet to happen. Right. That's my point. Those ideologies separate us so much that one thing of the love for Black people is not enough when those ideologies start coming into play.
And if that, and that is a part of my point, because if that can't be enough, then that's where the problem is.
So let's keep it extra funky. There's going to be some of our warrior class, right? That when we go, yo, we got to include our homosexual homies, and we got to include some of the ladies that's, you know what I mean, like gay. A lot of people going to be like, nah, I don't fuck with that.
See, and that's a part of the problem. That's the problem.
And I'm going to argue that, nah, you can't exclude this Black man because he's gay or this Black woman because this is my point. That's one thing. One thing. You go to religion. There's somebody going to be like, yo, get this kafir out of here.
That's a part of the problem. That's another part of the problem. Now, I know, Rue, I know. So you find those with the common mind, the like mind, in my opinion, you find those that are on the same agenda and you move.
Move to do what is the point, Trey?
Okay, what I'm saying is when I say move, I'm generalizing, meaning you get behind these closed doors that these other motherfuckers that you love them, but you can't hold water and you're not a part of the strategy and the plan and you're divisive and you're bringing in this religious shit and you're telling people gay people can't be a part of this. No, We are identifying the people that are of like mind, soul, body, and all of that, putting them. I mean, again, this is all, I'm using all of these as symbolisms of basically getting together and strategizing for a plan for our people. for our
Right.
people, whether it be starting in your house, in your community, in your district, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that you need to have inclusive in this room. Those are the people, not the people that's going to divide us, not the people that's looking for any and everything to
I
come
get
up
what
with some type of a, huh?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And again, it's not me being pessimistic. It's me being realistic and looking at what happens over and over again. And I'm just like, yo, breaking off into these little groups, you already segregating yourself from other black people.
So basically what you're saying is that there is no answer.
No,
There
no,
is
no, 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 absolutely not. What I'm saying is that these small collectives that we've broken into add on to the division more than unite us, because then we start to address ourselves in a tribal manner where we go, you know what? I'm I'm in the NAACP, right? I'm in this thing, and we don't fuck with y'all, and y'all is old, and now we need to change it to go this way.
But okay,
it makes the divisions. Now, I understand the organization part of it. Yo, get together with like-minded people, organize, do things, right?
Then present it.
Right.
Then present it to the masses.
And when you present it, the people are going to go, I wasn't involved with that. Who are you? You're not my. This is what the kids is on, Trey.
Right. And so, okay, so then the ego, so then the ego kicks in.
Let me tell you about our youth.
So then the ego kicks in.
No,
So then the ego kicks in because you just said, I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't in that meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an ego thing.
No,
that's
meaning there's points that you haven't thought of that I've thought. This is how human beings work. This is how they work.
I understand that, Rue. But if you, here's my thing. My thing is, if you sit around here, so in other words, the way you're explaining it, if we don't include everybody, right?
No. That's not what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is, okay, let's take the principles of certain things. Let's take the points of the Black Panther Party. Do you agree or disagree with the points that were put down by the Black Panther Party?
I agree with a lot of them.
Okay, so do you feel as though we need to rewrite the Constitution 1,000,000 times, or can we take those points along with other people's points and just put them together? It's not about that we haven't intelligently thought about what.
No, we can take those points and put them together.
Right. We haven't. It's not that we haven't intelligently thought about what we want in this country. It's that we don't move as a collective together.
Exactly.
Do you know, Trey, that when Dr. King was out here, the majority of niggas was not standing with him?
I know that. And that's because, again, I said it before, it's ego, bro. If you're not involved, if you're not attached, if you don't agree with all 100% of what a person is saying, then all of a sudden you don't get down with them. And that's ego. Again,
Is
we
it
as
ego?
a people,
Is it
yes,
ego?
it is.
Is it ego when Malcolm X says, yo, I'm not turning the other cheek, I'm not a Baptist preacher,
but then all of a sudden,
I don't agree. I philosophically disagree with this nonviolence. If you shoot at me, I'm shooting at you.
No. But then his ego also, he turned himself around and then started to have conversations with Dr. King. Yeah, because he allowed himself to open up to have these kind of conversations. And what I'm saying is, if you don't allow yourself to open up and have a conversation with somebody like we're doing right now, if you don't allow that, then again, it's all ego based. I'm not having no conversation with that nigga over there. He believes
I don't think it's ego based. Of course, Trey, there becomes power plays.
It has to be ego based.
No, it's not ego. It's philosophical differences. There are fundamental differences in the way people think.
But those fundamental differences are based on ego.
Trey, let me give you an example. This is like you and your lady, right? There may be things in your relationship where you go, yo, you know what? This ain't really a deal breaker, but this thing is a deal breaker, right? If you cheat on me, right? That's a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? Or in some relationships, cheating ain't a deal breaker.
Right.
I'm trying to get to a point that people have fundamental differences in ideas, and the way that people fundamentally think is what is going to separate them. And there has to be something that brings. I'm just trying to finish the point, Trey.
No. I'm saying, go ahead. Okay. I'm letting you finish.
When we look at other communities, right? I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, around a lot of Italians and a lot of Jews, right? There is something in the culture of being Italian that they argue just like us. They go to war with each other just like us. But when some outside shit go down, they don't even go to the cops. They go to the head person and they sit down at a table. and they talk it
Right.
out.
Right.
If something happens inside of the Jewish community, I don't care if it's Orthodox Jews, I don't care what type of Jew you are in this country, the Anti-Defamation League is going to be there, and they're going to all ride, no matter what.
Right.
Nobody's breaking. Nobody. And if you break, you're not part of this no more.
Right. Because
we don't do that. We don't do that.
And again, I gotta keep going back to ego, because the ego does not allow, even if you have a fundamental difference with somebody, your ego would not allow you to sit down and try to figure out what the fundamental difference is and how we can work collectively. That's what I'm saying. Your ego won't even allow you to have that conversation.
Okay, so what if I'm Muslim and in Islam, you can't be gay?
Listen, okay, so based on your belief, I'm telling you, based on your belief.
This is not me. Obviously, I'm putting out, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm about to tell you.
I'm putting you in real life situations.
I know that. Let me answer the question. What I'm saying
my bad.
when you start talking, okay, so first of all, I think the separation of religions is bullshit anyway. If you want to get all the way funky with it.
You talking to me, of course. Like, of course.
Yeah.
But Trey, we talk about is people.
Huh?
We talk about people. If you're gonna act like people's religion ain't one of the strongest factors.
No, I know this, Rue. All I'm saying is, when do you sit back and you figure out and you decide that shit has not worked and it doesn't work? So if you're gonna bring in religion, you're gonna bring in all these other divisive things to use for the person to stand on to justify how they feel and all this other stuff, and it still hasn't gotten us. And I'm just talking about collectively as a people, as black people. You're going to use these things to stand on to justify why it's supposed to be this way, that way, or the other way, and it has not worked. Mm-hmm. When do you try some new shit?
You got to ask them people. I don't know. Because I'm down to try.
And that's my point.
At this point, I'm down to try anything, but I'm not speaking on me. I'm speaking.
No,
on
I know that.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm cutting you off.
No. I know. You're not speaking. You're giving me what you're giving me is the counter.
Yes.
And this is how it's supposed to. And this is beautiful. I love it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, I always even with religion, because none of us was here in the beginning. None of us know how this shit went down. We wasn't physically here when. From a spiritual standpoint, if you believe in a God, if you believe in a Jesus, if you believe in, whatever you want to believe in, you know what I'm saying? None of us is here when the shit happens, so we're only taking what we're getting from face value. But it's all based on ego.
But here's the argument, Trey. Here's the argument. When you say it's based on ego, certain people have certain things, and you could almost even to a certain extent take it to where like a scientist could go, yo, what you're saying, I have proof of how it started. You're in a belief system and I have proof of how it started. That man, it's not his ego, that's him believing in his science, that his science is correct. He's not looking at himself and going, yo, I'm smart and you don't know what you're talking about. No, he's devoted his life to science. He studied a certain thing and he figured out. Just listen to what I'm saying, Trey. Not to say one is right or wrong. I'm not arguing that point. I'm talking about how a person comes to an understanding for themselves, and then it's not based on ego. It's based on what they believe or what they know or what they perceive to know. So it's not just about ego. When I'm telling you that these are fundamental parts of people's character and who they are.
Based on what they believe and what they know, without even digging further into finding what could or could not be the real truth. They stop at a certain point.
For whatever reason that it happens,
I'm just telling you.
I'm not talking about the symptoms. I'm talking about the disease. I'm not talking about.
I'm telling you about the disease too. So in other words, if you don't allow yourself to open up to just the idea that maybe, just maybe, my shit could be totally wrong.
Right.
If you don't open up to that, then that is the problem.
So then I would further the conversation to say, okay, if you have a group of people that don't, some do, some don't, how do you move as a collective when this is going on? Because
it goes back, we're going around in a circle. It goes back to those to those that choose to move. You got to move, and prayerfully Those that don't at that particular time will catch on. Hope prayerfully. And if they don't, God bless them. And you want to try to save them, but you can't.
Okay, so then it's yo, I'm going to make my own Wakanda, right? And when Killmonger or whatever the dude's name was, I forget what's homeboy's Michael K. Williams, no, not Michael K. Williams. Fuck, I can't call his name right now. The other kid, somebody help me out. We all in here. His point was, you living in this world and you got all the technology that could save the world, but you only worried about your own people.
No.
His point was, it's black people across the world catching hell, and y'all got all the technology right here to save everybody in Oakland, but you live by yourself. And matter of fact, you left me over there. You left me. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, so the key was.
The key was. You're gonna be your Wakanda, and it's just you and your couple 100,000 people. What about the millions?
There's two things. There's two things with this. He never even tried to see if any of them wanted to come. Right?
What do you mean?
He never even tried. That was his beef. He never even tried. I'm saying when you try to reach out, and nobody wants to come. You think I'm going to sit up there and wait for you? I can't.
But what's the?
For the love of my people, I can't.
What's your try to reach out? What's your way of getting?
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. You cannot quantify that at this particular time. It's based on the situation. What I'm saying is just from a basic perspective, just from
of who you know, like of who you know, like a basic perspective of just who you know.
No. I'm saying everybody. If you try to go get everybody,
no, I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying everybody's
going to be. If you want me to quantify it, let's just say it's 100,000 people.
I'm speaking in not a theoretical term, but I'm speaking in a term that says, yo, even 100,000 people is not enough. That doesn't represent all of us.
You lost me. Say it again.
Okay, let's say you get 100,000 people, right, that think like-minded or do whatever that is, right? And it would be interesting. I would like to look up at its height, how many people was in the Nation of Islam, right? How many people? Even if it was 100,000, it's still a small section of people.
Okay, and I'm
how many millions of black people live in this country?
Understand, but somebody has to and I'm gonna take this. My man Ken Hodge, I don't know, you know Ken Hodge.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He says something very, very interesting. Some people create the trail, others follow.
Yeah,
that's it.
And what I'm trying to tell you is that in today's society, what our children are attempting, this is their mentality. I speak to them all the time. Mm-hmm. They are going, yo, the mistake that y'all made in the past is that y'all had a figurehead. They look at let me finish. This is them telling me what they think. This is when I'm teaching 18-year-olds. This is when I'm sitting down with people that run Black Lives Matter.
I agree with it.
This is their philosophy, right? You have figureheads. So if I kill Martin Luther King, I kill the movement. If I kill Malcolm X, I kill the movement. If I kill Che Guevara, I kill the movement because you had a figurehead. So our thing now, this is young people talking. We're not going to have no figurehead. We disseminate information across the internet. We mobilize. We go do this thing. But what I'm saying to them in retort is, I understand what you are saying, but then there is no fucking organization.
Right. So there's the fundamental flaw in their ideology. The fundamental flaw in ideology is trying to find a figurehead to lead us.
But was it fundamentally flawed?
I think it was. When you try to find one motherfucker that's going to lead us all, different ideas.
No. Let me explain something. I'm not saying that all of us have to bow down. Like, let's be clear.
No, I ain't saying bow down either. I'm just saying from a basic perspective. That's the wrong word. When you find one motherfucker that everybody follows, and you cut off the head, and then everybody else just falls to the ground.
But it don't have to be organized that way. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the lesson that D-Dot was trying to teach us when he came down to have the meeting with us about you, and it was 20 RNF members in that meeting. And he said, yo, I can't have a meeting with 20 people, bro.
I agree.
I can't have a meeting with 20 people. I can't listen to each one of y'all thing and all of y'all get to, because that's the way we ran our organization. Everybody,
and it was flawed.
Everybody's equal. Everybody get an equal say. Everybody gets to say what they want. But at a given point, just listen to what I'm saying. At a given point, it got to be, yo, Kenny's the most business-minded out of all of us. Okay, so all of us get together. Let's have the meeting. Let's discuss what we want and let Kenny walk in there with Trey. Lance is the person that gets along with everybody. So let's give Lance the information and he can relay the message better than maybe somebody else like Goo who gonna argue with a nigga all day.
Organization.
You understand what I'm saying?
Organization.
That's what I'm saying. So then it's not necessarily like, oh, if Lance gets picked off, we can't have another meeting. I'm just saying, like, you still gotta be able to have those things that are like funneled. It gotta be funneled through somewhere.
Organization.
Yes, that's my point. Is the organization.
No, I agree with you. I agree with the organization part. The part that you just expressed that the youngers are saying is that we put somebody in place in the front.
Yes.
And as soon as the person got popped, then everybody lost hope. Everybody lost faith.
True.
Everybody lost whatever it is the end goal was.
Because we was, but now here's another part. Because we was making gods out of these men. Right. The way that we talked about them, the way that we positioned them, you know, we made gods out of these men. So it wasn't, and this is my point of saying, don't do that. Don't make the God out of the man. It takes away the power from the common man, because then they start to think of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X as something other than themselves, right? But what I'm saying is we can't just be walking up in here on some trying to have a meeting with D-Dot with 20 niggas. It's not going to work.
I agree. But that's why I go back to my whole point of when you start talking about, you know, well, how are we going to save everybody?
No, I'm not saying save. Everybody's not going to be saved. I get that. I'm saying who is we? How do we even determine who we is? Because look, there's varying degrees, Trey. The person ain't got to be a snitch or somebody that's just against the thing. You know what I mean? We know that those, listen. We know that those people exist. We know that snitches and people that talk to the government and people that didn't want to give up their lives for the movement, we know that those people exist. What I'm saying is there are varying degrees of people who love black people. That's right. The complicated part.
That's the end game.
Part. Nobody's saying Malcolm X didn't love black people. Dr. King didn't love black people. The boys didn't love black people. Washington didn't love black people. But they got extremely opposite ideologies.
I agree. I agree. Just
certain people are going to look at us. Certain people are going to look at us, even though we don't look at ourselves like that. Certain people are going to look at us as the boys when we not that. But certain people is going to be like, yo, I don't fuck with that talented temp shit. Just because you went to college, that don't mean you get to run.
I agree. And a part of it, and it goes back to me using that word ego again, because the end game was about the love for your people. The end game was about the love for your people and wanting your people to be able to excel in this society. Right. So remove your motherfucking ego and let's sit at the table and figure out, based on your ideology and my ideology, how do we get to the end game?
Sound great, but that's a hard thing to do, my brother.
But that's what we got, Rue. That's
I know.
Because I know what you're saying, but this is the tipping point that I'm talking about. When we get to that point, that's when we are able to move collectively. When you get to that point, until we get to that point, it won't happen.
I get what you're saying. I think you should find somebody with like an opposing point of view of mine, because this is a good bill. You should find somebody with an opposing point of view so that we could build even further. Because me and you gonna build offline, right? So that yeah. In circles, but this is a good bill for everybody that's on here. Like, and I'm trying to leave saying, yo, I'm admitting to people I don't have the answer. I need, number one, just on a personal, for people to like lift me up and put my spirit back into warrior mode, because I'm in tired mode. I'm in tired mode. And then two,
I got you, brother. I got you.
And then two, I'm admitting I don't know what the answer is, but I'm down to do whatever.
I don't either.
I want us to think on every single level. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Rue. I got all the energy for both of us, homie, and I don't got all the answers either. But I'm willing to sit down and have a discussion with anybody that love my people and come up with not just a discussion, but a solution. But I want it behind closed doors.
Okay,
I don't want motherfuckers that can't hold water in my shit.
That's the last point. The last point is it's not about the dialogue or the discussion. It's about what you come up with out of that dialogue. Because there's been too many meetings where we go, yo, we need to talk. People get up, they give these long speeches. We need to get straight to, yo, somebody present the solution, and then we argue about whatever 5 solutions and debunk those for the 2 hours versus going the opposite way of just talking, and then we spend 5 minutes on solution at the end of the meeting. Let's come in with the solution. You think about the solution. Come to the meeting. We got 5 of them up there, and then we take 2 hours to debunk each one of them.
That's right.
That's my suggestion.
I agree. I'm with that shit. I'm with that shit.
All right, let's do it.
If it's for the love of my people, I'm with it, man. All day.
I love you, boy. I love you too, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.